You know you're the family dog when your wife's perfume lingers longer than she does. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I'm Jack Mallory, 41 years old, and I'm lying under our kitchen sink at 2 in the morning, wrench in hand, listening to the steady drip that's been driving me insane for 3 weeks. The house creaks around me like old bones, and somewhere upstairs, my wife Celeste is supposedly sleeping off another late night at the office. The wrench slips, and I bang my knuckles against the pipe. Son of a... That's when I see it. A phone, buzzing against the kitchen counter above me. Not Celeste's usual iPhone with the pink case. This one's sleek, black, anonymous. I slide out from under the sink and grab it. The screen lights up with a text from G. Can't wait to taste you again tomorrow night. Marina, usual spot. My stomach drops like a stone through ice water. I've been married to Celeste for 15 years. We met when she was a struggling marketing assistant, and I was building my renovation business from nothing. Back then, she'd curl up next to me on our secondhand couch, tracing circles on my chest while I told her about my day fixing other people's broken homes. Now she barely looks at me when I walk into a room. The phone buzzes again. Another text from G. Jack's such a pathetic loser. Can't believe you stayed with him this long. My hands shake as I screenshot both messages. The phone's not password protected. Celeste always was careless about details. I scroll through weeks of messages. Months, actually. Hotel rooms, lunch meetings that weren't meetings. Late nights at the Marina where she claimed she was networking. G is Grant Avery. I know him from Celeste's company parties. Tall, slick hair, the kind of guy who wears boat shoes without socks and thinks it makes him interesting. He's some hotshot creative director at Morrison & Associates, the ad agency where Celeste works as a team lead. I photograph everything with my own phone, my contractor's hands surprisingly steady. Years of measuring twice and cutting once have their advantages. Footsteps on the stairs. I slide the black phone back where I found it and grab my wrench. Jack? Celeste's voice drifts into the kitchen. What are you doing down there? Fixing the leak you've been complaining about. I keep my voice level, professional. It's a skill you learn in my business, staying calm when everything's falling apart around you. She appears in the doorway wearing a silk robe I don't remember buying her. At 39, Celeste is still beautiful in that sharp, calculated way that turns heads at restaurants. Her blonde hair is perfectly styled even at 2 a.m., and her makeup is suspiciously fresh for someone who's been sleeping. You're making noise, she says. Some of us have important meetings tomorrow. Sorry, almost done. She studies me for a moment, and I wonder if she can see the knowledge written across my face. But Celeste has always been good at seeing only what she wants to see. There's a company event Friday night, she says. Don't embarrass me. When have I ever embarrassed you? She doesn't answer, just turns and walks away. Her heels click against the hardwood floor, another detail that doesn't fit. Who wears heels to bed? I finish the repair and clean up my tools. The house feels different now, like I'm seeing it through new eyes. The expensive furniture Celeste insisted we buy, the art on the walls that I never understood, the wine collection in the basement that I'm not allowed to touch, all of it paid for by my business, my sweat, my calloused hands. I pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon and sit at the kitchen table, staring at the screenshots on my phone. Grant's words echo in my head. Jack's such a pathetic loser. Maybe he's right. Maybe I am pathetic. The blue-collar husband who doesn't fit into his wife's white-collar world. The guy who fixes things while she breaks them. But here's what Grant doesn't know about guys like me. We're good at fixing things. And sometimes, fixing something means tearing it down first. I finish my bourbon and head upstairs. Celeste is already asleep, or pretending to be. I lie in bed next to her, listening to her breathe, planning my next move. Tomorrow, I'm going to start building something new. And this time, I'm going to make sure it lasts. The next morning, Celeste leaves for work at 7 sharp, kissing my cheek with lips that taste like lies. I wait until her BMW disappears around the corner, then call my best friend Tom Bradley. Jack, it's barely 8 a.m. Tom's voice is thick with sleep. Someone better be dead. Not yet, I say. But I need your help with something. Tom and I have been friends since high school. He's a big guy, 6'4", and built like a linebacker, which he was until his knee gave out senior year. He spent 20 years as a cop before retiring early, and now he runs security for a couple of local businesses. More importantly, he's the most loyal person I know. What's going on? Celeste is cheating on me. Silence. Then, you sure? I tell him about the phone, The message is Grant Avery. Tom listens without interrupting, which is one of the things I've always appreciated about him. "What do you want to do?" he asks when I'm finished. "I want proof, real proof, the kind that holds up in court." "Jack, you know I can't—" "I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. I just need someone to watch my back." Another pause. "Meet me at Murphy's in an hour." Murphy's Tavern is the kind of dive bar that every small Maine town has. Dark wood, older regulars, and a bartender who minds his own business. Tom is already there when I arrive, nursing a coffee and looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "You thought about this?" he asks as I slide into the booth across from him. "All night. I mean, really thought about it. Once you go down this road, there's no going back." I pull out my phone and show him the screenshots. Tom's face darkens as he reads. "Son of a bitch," he mutters. "I never liked that guy." "You've met Grant?" "Last year's Christmas party. He made some crack about blue-collar workers being the backbone of America in that tone rich guys use when they're pretending to respect you." I remember that party. Grant had cornered me by the bar, asking about my little renovation business like it was a lemonade stand. I'd wanted to punch his perfect teeth in, but Celeste was watching, and I knew she'd never forgive me for making a scene. "So what's the plan?" Tom asks. "Tonight, they're meeting at the Marina. I want to document it." Tom nods slowly. "Surveillance. I can work with that." We spend the next hour planning. Tom knows the Marina layout from his cop days, where to park, where to hide, how to get clear photos without being seen. He also reminds me about Maine's privacy laws, what's legal and what isn't. "The key is public spaces," he explains. "Marina's public. Parking lot's public. You can photograph anything visible from a public space." "What about recording conversations?" "Maine's a one-party consent state. As long as one person in the conversation consents to recording, it's legal. But if you're not part of the conversation, it's dicey." "Exactly." I spend the rest of the day working on a kitchen renovation in the next town over, trying to focus on measurements and tile patterns instead of my crumbling marriage. But every time I use my level, I think about how nothing in my life is straight anymore. At 5 o'clock, I pack up my tools and drive home. Celeste's car isn't in the driveway, which isn't unusual. She rarely gets home before 7 these days. I shower and change into dark clothes, then meet Tom at his place. He's got a camera with a telephoto lens and a pair of binoculars that look military grade. "Perks of the security business," he explains. We drive to the Marina in Tom's pickup truck. The sun is setting over the harbor, painting the water gold and orange. It's beautiful, the kind of view that usually makes me feel lucky to live in Maine. Tonight, it just makes me sad. The Marina has a small parking lot and a cluster of buildings, the harbor master's office, a bait shop, and an old boathouse that's been converted into event space. Tom parks behind the bait shop, where we have a clear view of the lot but can't be seen from the road. "Now we wait," Tom says. At 8:30, Celeste's BMW pulls into the lot. She parks near the boathouse and checks her phone. 5 minutes later, a silver Mercedes arrives. Grant Avery steps out, and even from a distance, I can see his smug smile. They don't even try to hide it. Grant walks straight to Celeste, pulls her into his arms, and kisses her like they're teenagers. She melts against him, her hands tangling in his hair. Tom starts taking pictures. The camera's shutter is nearly silent, but each click feels like a nail in my marriage's coffin. "You okay?" Tom asks. I realize I'm gripping the door handle hard enough to leave marks. "Yeah, keep shooting." Grant and Celeste walk toward the boathouse, his hand on her lower back. They disappear inside, and Tom lowers the camera. "That's enough for tonight," he says. "We got what we came for." But I'm not ready to leave. I want to march into that boathouse and confront them both. I want to grab Grant by his expensive shirt and throw him into the harbor. I want to ask Celeste when she stopped loving me and why she didn't have the courage to tell me herself. Instead, I sit in Tom's truck and watch the building where my wife is betraying me with a man who thinks I'm pathetic. "Jack?" Tom's voice is gentle. "Let's go home." I nod, not trusting my voice. As we drive away, I see Grant's Mercedes still parked next to Celeste's BMW, and I wonder how many other nights they've met here while I was home alone, fixing things that weren't really broken. Tomorrow, I'm going to start breaking things that can't be fixed. The next morning, I'm installing crown molding in Mrs. Patterson's dining room when my phone rings. It's Sonia Walsh, one of Celeste's co-workers and supposed best friend. "Jack, honey, I hope you don't mind me calling." Sonia's voice has that fake sweetness she uses when she wants something. "I'm planning a little surprise for Celeste's birthday next month, and I wanted to run some ideas past you." Celeste's birthday isn't for 3 months, but I play along. Sure, Sonia. What did you have in mind? Well, I know how much she loves those weekend getaways you two take. Maybe we could plan something at that cute little bed and breakfast in Camden? We haven't taken a weekend getaway in over 2 years, but Sonia doesn't know that. Or maybe she does, and she's fishing for information. That sounds nice, I say carefully. Great, I'll need to coordinate with her schedule, of course. She's been so busy lately with all those evening client meetings. There it is. Sonia knows about the affair, and she's either covering for Celeste or trying to gauge how much I know. In my experience, when women like Sonia start probing, it means the gossip mill is already turning. Yeah, she's been working late a lot, I say. Dedication to the job, right? Oh, absolutely. Grant Avery has really pushed the whole team to excel. He's such an inspiring leader. I nearly dropped my nail gun. Grant's been working closely with Celeste? Oh, yes, very closely. They make quite a team. I sometimes wonder how his wife feels about all those late strategy sessions. Grant has a wife. Of course he does. Guys like Grant always have wives, usually blonde, usually young, usually naive enough to believe their husband's lies about working late. I should let you get back to work, Sonia continues. But Jack, if you ever need someone to talk to? Well, I know how hard it can be when you feel left out of your spouse's professional life. The line goes dead, and I stare at my phone. Sonia definitely knows. The question is whether she's trying to help me or just stirring up drama for her own entertainment. I finish the molding job and drive to Morrison & Associates. The agency occupies a converted warehouse downtown, all exposed brick and industrial fixtures designed to look creative and cutting edge. I park across the street and call Tom. I need you to run a background check on Grant Avery, I say. Jack, I can't just... Nothing illegal. Public records, marriage license, property records, social media. The kind of stuff anyone can find if they know where to look. Tom sighs. Give me a few hours. While I wait, I do some reconnaissance of my own. The agency has floor-to-ceiling windows on the ground floor, and I can see into the main workspace. Celeste is at her desk, animated and laughing. Grant appears behind her, leaning over her shoulder to look at her computer screen. His hand rests on her back, and she doesn't pull away. My phone buzzes with a text from Tom. Meet me at Murphy's. Found some interesting stuff. I drive to the bar, my mind racing. Tom is waiting in our usual booth with a manila folder and a grim expression. Grant Avery, 36 years old, he begins. Married to Rebecca Avery, née Morrison, as in Morrison & Associates. He married the boss's daughter? Gets better. Rebecca's father founded the agency. Grant's been there 5 years, got promoted to creative director after 2. Before that, he worked for 3 different agencies in Boston, left each one under mysterious circumstances. Tom slides a printout across the table. It's a newspaper clipping from a Boston business journal. Morrison & Associates hires former Blackstone creative director. I called a buddy who works private security in Boston, Tom continues. Grant left Blackstone because of an affair with a married coworker. The woman's husband threatened to sue for alienation of affection. So he has a pattern. Looks like it, and here's the kicker. Rebecca Avery filed for a restraining order against Grant last year. She withdrew it a week later, but the paperwork's still on file. I study the documents Tom has gathered. Grant isn't just a cheater. He's a predator who targets married women and uses his position to manipulate them. The restraining order suggests he might be violent when cornered. There's more, Tom says. I drove by their house this morning. Big colonial in Falmouth, probably worth $800,000. Rebecca's car was in the driveway, a white Range Rover with a dented rear bumper and scratches on the driver's side door. Accident? Maybe. Or maybe Grant has anger management issues. I lean back in the booth, processing everything. Grant isn't just stealing my wife, he's potentially dangerous. And Celeste has no idea what she's gotten herself into. What are you thinking? Tom asks. I'm thinking Grant Avery picked the wrong marriage to destroy. Tom nods slowly. So, what's our next move? We're going to give him exactly what he deserves. But first, I need to document everything, every meeting, every lie, every moment of this affair. When I'm done, Grant won't just lose my wife, he'll lose everything. I pull out my phone and start scrolling through Celeste's social media. She's been posting photos from work events that I now recognize as dates with Grant. Dinner at expensive restaurants I could never afford, wine tastings at vineyards an hour away, weekend team-building retreats that she claimed were mandatory. All lies, all documented, all evidence. You know what the worst part is? I tell Tom. I actually feel sorry for his wife. She has no idea what's coming. You going to tell her? I consider it. Rebecca Avery is an innocent victim in all this, just like I am. She deserves to know the truth about her husband, but telling her would tip my hand too early, and I need more time to gather evidence. Not yet, I say. But when this is over, she's going to know everything. Tom finishes his beer and stands up. Whatever you're planning, Jack, just remember, revenge is a dish best served cold. Don't worry, I say. I'm going to let it freeze. Friday night arrives like a storm I can see coming but can't avoid. Celeste spends 2 hours getting ready for her company event, trying on 3 different dresses before settling on a black cocktail number that costs more than most people make in a week. You sure you don't want to come? She asks, applying lipstick in our bedroom mirror. It might be fun. I wasn't invited, I remind her. It's not that formal. Spouses are welcome. This is new. For the past year, Celeste has made excuses about why I shouldn't attend her work functions. Too boring, too many inside jokes, too much shop talk. Now suddenly she wants me there? I've got plans with Tom, I lie. She shrugs, clearly relieved. Suit yourself. Don't wait up. These things tend to run late. After she leaves, I call Tom. Change of plans, I'm going to the party. Jack, that's a bad idea. I need to see them together in public, see how they interact when they think no one's watching. What if Celeste sees you? The party's at the Portland Harbor Hotel. Big venue, lots of people, I can blend in. Tom is quiet for a moment. You want backup? Yeah, but stay in the parking lot. If things go sideways, I might need a quick exit. I shower and put on my only suit. Navy blue, 5 years old, but still presentable. In the mirror, I look like exactly what I am. A working man trying to fit into a world that doesn't want him. The Harbor Hotel is buzzing with activity when I arrive. The Morrison and Associates party has taken over the entire rooftop deck, and I can hear laughter and music drifting down from the top floor. I take the elevator up, my heart pounding. The party is in full swing. Maybe 100 people scattered across the deck, drinking wine and eating appetizers that probably cost more than my lunch. I grab a beer from the bar and position myself near the railing, where I have a clear view of the crowd but can duck into the shadows if needed. It doesn't take long to spot Celeste. She's holding court near the center of the deck, surrounded by coworkers who hang on her every word. She looks radiant, more alive than I've seen her in months. Grant appears at her side, and I watch their body language carefully. They don't touch, but they don't need to. The way she tilts her head when he speaks, the way he leans into her personal space, the way they share private smiles, it's all there for anyone who knows what to look for. Excuse me, are you with the agency? I turn to find a young woman with short red hair and curious eyes. She's wearing a name tag that says Marcy, assistant. No, I say. I'm Jack Mallory, Celeste's husband. Her eyes widen slightly. Oh, I didn't know Celeste was married. The words hit me like a physical blow. Celeste has been hiding me from her coworkers. To them, I don't exist. Well, I say, forcing a smile. Now you do. Marcy looks uncomfortable, like she said something wrong. I should get back to work. Nice meeting you, Mr. Mallory. She hurries away, and I'm left alone with the realization that my wife is not just cheating on me, she's erasing me from her life entirely. I'm about to leave when I hear Grant's voice behind me. Well, well, if it isn't the handyman. I turn around. Grant is standing 5 feet away, a whiskey in his hand and a smirk on his face. Up close, he's smaller than I expected. Maybe 5'10", slender build, the kind of guy who's never done physical labor in his life. Grant, I say evenly. Nice party. Surprised to see you here. Celeste said you weren't coming. Change my mind. He steps closer, and I can smell his expensive cologne mixed with alcohol. You know, Jack, I've always admired blue-collar guys like you. Must be nice to work with your hands, not have to think too much. The insult is delivered with a smile, but it's an insult nonetheless. I could flatten him with one punch, and we both know it. But that's not the game I'm playing. Thinking's overrated, I say. I prefer doing. Is that so? Grant's smile widens. Well, some of us prefer to work smarter, not harder. It's all about leverage, you know? Finding the right pressure points. He's talking about more than business, and we both know it. This is his way of telling me he's won, that he's taken my wife, and there's nothing I can do about it. You're absolutely right, I say. Pressure points are everything. Something in my tone makes his smile falter. For just a moment, I see uncertainty in his eyes. Enjoy the party, Grant, I continue, and tell Celeste I said hello. I walk away before he can respond, taking the elevator down to the lobby. Tom is waiting in the parking lot, engine running. How'd it go? He asks as I get in the truck. Perfect, I say. Grant just told me exactly how to destroy him. Tom raises an eyebrow. How's that? Pressure points. He's right. It's all about finding the right pressure points and applying leverage. I pull out my phone and start scrolling through the photos Tom took at the Marina, the background check information, the social media posts, all the evidence I've been gathering for weeks. Grant thinks he's smarter than me because he wears a suit and I carry a toolbox. I continue. But here's what he doesn't understand. I've spent 20 years learning how to tear things apart and put them back together. And some things, once you break them, can never be fixed. Tom nods slowly. So what's the plan? Monday morning, I'm going to start applying pressure. By the time I'm done, Grant Avery is going to wish he'd never heard my name. I lean back in the passenger seat and close my eyes. For the first time in weeks, I feel calm. The rage is still there, burning in my chest like a coal, but now it has direction, purpose. Grant wanted to play games with my marriage. Fine. But he's about to learn that some games have consequences he never saw coming. Monday morning, I'm installing bathroom tile when my phone rings. It's Detective Lorna Hayes from the local police department. We went to high school together, dated briefly senior year before going our separate ways. She's been married and divorced twice since then, and we've maintained a friendly relationship over the years. Jack, I need to ask you a few questions. Her voice is professional but concerned. Can you come down to the station? My blood runs cold. What's this about? Just some routine questions, nothing to worry about. But everything about her tone suggests I should be worried. I finish grouting the tile and drive to the police station, my mind racing through possibilities. Did someone see me at the Marina? Did Grant report me for harassment after Friday night's encounter? The station is small, just a handful of desks and 2 interview rooms. Lorna meets me in the lobby, looking uncomfortable in her uniform. Thanks for coming in, she says, leading me to one of the interview rooms. This shouldn't take long. We sit across from each other at a metal table, and I notice she's not recording the conversation. That's either a good sign or a very bad one. Jack, I'm going to be straight with you, she begins. Your wife came in this morning and filed a complaint. She claims you've been following her, taking pictures, and making threatening phone calls. I stare at her in disbelief. That's completely false. I figured it might be. Celeste seemed, coached, like someone told her what to say. Lorna leans forward. Jack, what's really going on? I consider my options. Lorna and I have history, and she's always been straight with me. But she's also a cop, and anything I say could be used against me later. My marriage is falling apart, I say finally. Celeste is having an affair. Lorna nods, like this confirms something she already suspected. With who? Grant Avery. He works at her agency. You have proof? I pull out my phone and show her some of the photos Tom took at the Marina. Lorna studies them carefully, her expression grim. These were taken from a public space? She asks. The Marina parking lot. Then you haven't broken any laws. But Jack, you need to be careful. If Celeste is willing to file false charges, this situation could escalate quickly. What are you telling me? I'm telling you to document everything. Every interaction, every conversation, every threat. Because if this goes to court, you're going to need evidence of your own. Lorna walks me to the lobby, her hand briefly touching my shoulder. Jack, whatever you're planning, don't do anything stupid. Guys like Grant Avery have lawyers and connections. Guys like us just have each other. I drive home feeling like the walls are closing in. Celeste is trying to paint me as the villain, probably on Grant's advice. They're getting ahead of the story, preparing for the moment when their affair becomes public knowledge. But 2 can play that game. I spend the rest of the day making copies of everything. The photos, the text messages, the background check on Grant, the financial records showing Celeste's suspicious expenses. I put one set in a safety deposit box and give another to Tom for safekeeping. That evening, Celeste comes home late again, claiming she had to work through dinner. She barely looks at me as she microwaves leftovers and scrolls through her phone. How was your day? I ask, testing her. Busy. We're pitching a new client next week, so everyone's stressed. Grant keeping you all motivated? She looks up sharply. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, just making conversation. But she's studying my face now, looking for signs that I know more than I'm letting on. Jack, we need to talk. About what? About us, about our marriage. She sets down her phone and turns to face me. I think we should consider counseling. It's a masterful move, I have to admit. If she's suggesting counseling, she looks like the reasonable one trying to save the marriage. If I refuse, I'm the stubborn husband who won't work on our problems. Why now? I ask. Because I can feel you pulling away. You're distant, suspicious, angry all the time. I don't know what's wrong, but we need to fix it. The audacity is breathtaking. She's cheating on me, lying to my face every day, and now she's making it my fault for being suspicious. You're right, I say. I have been angry. Want to know why? Something in my tone makes her stiffen. Jack, I pull out my phone and show her one of the photos from the marina. Her face goes white. You bastard, she whispers. You've been spying on me. I've been documenting your affair with Grant Avery. She stands up so fast her chair falls backward. How dare you? You have no right. I have every right. You're my wife. Or have you forgotten that? Our marriage has been over for years, she shouts. I've just been too much of a coward to admit it. Finally, the truth. It hangs between us like a blade, sharp and cutting. Then why didn't you just leave? I ask quietly. Because, she struggles for words, because it was easier this way, because I didn't want to hurt you. So you decided to humiliate me instead. Tears are streaming down her face now, but I feel nothing. The woman I married died somewhere along the way, replaced by the stranger who lies as easily as breathing. Grant makes me feel alive, she says. He sees potential in me that you never did. Grant is using you, Celeste. He's married to the boss's daughter. You're just his latest conquest. You don't know what you're talking about. I know he left his last job because of an affair. I know his wife filed a restraining order against him. I know you're not the first married woman he's seduced, and you won't be the last. The color drains from her face. You're lying. I show her the background check, the newspaper clipping, the court documents. She reads them with growing horror, and I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. He told me he was getting divorced, she whispers. He lied, just like you've been lying to me. She crumples into her chair, the fight gone out of her. For a moment, she looks like the woman I married, vulnerable, scared, human. What happens now? She asks. Now you choose. End it with Grant, and we try to rebuild our marriage. Or keep lying, and I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. Your parents, your coworkers, his wife, everyone. She looks up at me with something that might be hatred. You would destroy my career over this. You destroyed our marriage. I'm just evening the score. She stands up and walks toward the stairs, then turns back. You know what your problem is, Jack? You think being the victim makes you noble, but it just makes you pathetic. She disappears upstairs, and I hear our bedroom door slam. I sit alone in the kitchen, surrounded by the wreckage of 15 years of marriage, and realize that some things are too broken to fix. But that doesn't mean they can't be torn down completely. 2 days later, I'm replacing a garbage disposal when Tom calls with news. Grant's been asking questions about you, he says. My buddy at the security company says Grant hired them to do a background check. What kind of questions? Criminal history, financial records, business licenses. He's looking for something to use against you. I'm not surprised. Grant is feeling cornered, and cornered animals attack. Find anything interesting? Clean as a whistle. But Jack, there's something else. Rebecca Avery called the police yesterday. Domestic disturbance at their house in Falmouth. My grip tightens on the phone. Is she okay? Neighbors reported shouting, something breaking. When the cops arrived, she claimed it was just an argument. No charges filed. Grant's taking his anger out on his wife. The thought makes my blood boil. Rebecca Avery's innocent, and now she's paying for his infidelity. We end this, I tell Tom. How? Saturday. Morrison and Associates' is client dinner. Everyone will be there, including her father. Tom hesitates. Once you pull that trigger, there's no going back. I spend 3 days preparing a slideshow. Photos, texts, hotel receipts, everything. Then I call Rebecca. I was wondering when you'd call, she says softly when we meet in a Portland cafe. She's elegant, exhausted, hiding a bruise. How long have you known? About your wife? Months? Grant's sloppy. There were others before her. I tell her I'll expose him. She nods. Do it. Maybe it'll finally set me free. Saturday night, I slip into the Falmouth Country Club with a projector and a plan. Celeste glows in red beside Grant. I set up unnoticed. When Rebecca's father finishes his speech, I take the mic. One last presentation, I say. Grant freezes as the first slide appears. Him and Celeste kissing. Gasps ripple. Then texts, receipts, records. Chaos. Grant Avery, I announce. Your creative director, and my wife's lover. The final slide, Rebecca's bruised wrist. He's not just an adulterer, he's an abuser. The room explodes. Grant screams. Celeste crumbles. I pack up, walk out. Tom asks, Feel better? I glance back at the burning wreckage of Grant's life. Yeah, I do. Some things can't be fixed, and maybe that's justice. The end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching,